This screencast is to talk a little bit about the Unit 3 exam. The Unit 3 exam covers reflexive verbs, if they're reflexive, how to conjugate them, as well as a review of ser and estar. Please keep in mind that you can redo any assignment for a better grade, so you have multiple attempts on this assignment. So just to give a really quick overview, keep in mind that reflexive verbs reflect back on who they're talking to. So once you get to right around question 1920, it asks that question, is the verb or is the statement reflexive or not? What that means is a reflexive verb comes back on the action doer, and that is the action receiver. So some of the examples are things like, I have a small child, and he needs help with bathing himself. So when he takes a bath, I help bathe him. So I bathe my son, which is not reflexive. However, once he gets older, he is going to bathe himself, which becomes reflexive. That's the same with brushing teeth, okay? At this point, I assist him with brushing his teeth. I help him brush his teeth. That's not reflexive. But I brush my own teeth, and that is reflexive. It reflects back on who it's talking to or talking about. Same with thinking about getting dressed and putting your own clothes on. So as grown-ups or teenagers, we put our own clothes on, but some smaller children, I dress my child. That type of situation. So when you look at these, like number 20, she paints her nails. Okay, if I'm watching her, she is painting her own nails. That is something that is reflexive, reflects back on the person who's doing the action. But if it says she is getting her nails painted at the salon, that is not reflexive because somebody else is completing that action. Now, a reflexive verb always has a se on the end. So you can see here in question 1, despertarse, 2, secarse, 3, ponerse. So reflexive verb usually has that, or always has the se on the end. So let's take a look at something. In the lessons, reflexive verbs, they are formed in a certain way. So how are they formed? First off, there are what we're going to call reflexive pronouns, okay? And a reflexive pronoun is what is going to reflect back on the person. So for yo, it's me. Tú, it's te. Él, ella, usted, it's se. Nosotros, it's nos. Vosotros, it's os. And ellos, ellos, ustedes, it is se as well. Now, there's a really catchy song in the lesson that talks about how you conjugate the verbs, okay? So if we take a look at the very first item there, where it says ellos despertarse, the first step is you take the se off, you put it in your pocket, then you conjugate. So I'm going to take the se off. That leaves me with despertar. Now I'm going to conjugate the verb for ellos, and it is going to change to despiertan. It is a shoe verb. And the last step is you bring the pronoun out, you turn it around, and place it in the front. So the pronoun for ellos is going to be se. Se despiertan. So those steps are a little bit catchy. So you're going to take the se off, and we're going to say, put it in your pocket and conjugate. So you're going to conjugate the verb. Then the last step there, and it's probably a little bit catchier in the song, you bring the pronoun out, and they say, turn it around and place it in the front. Okay, so let's do some more examples here, and we're going to go in an order. So let's use, and I'm just going to remove this, let's use yo, and we'll use that second verb, secarse. So the first step is take the se off, put it in your pocket. Now we're going to conjugate secar for yo. So it's going to become yo seco. Now we're going to bring the pronoun out, turn it around, and place it in the front. And up here, the reflexive pronoun you need is me for yo. So now, if we take this, and we're going to change yo to tu. So we take the se off, we put it in our pocket, now we conjugate our verb, tú secas. Now we bring the pronoun out, turn it around, and place it in the front. Te secas. Okay, so now let's change this to él, ella, or usted. So we're going to take the se off, put it in our pocket, conjugate our verb for ella, which is seca. Now we're going to bring the pronoun out, turn it around, and place it in the front. And for él, ella, usted, it is se. Now let's look at nosotros. Okay, let's take the se off, put it in our pocket, and now we're going to conjugate our verb for nosotros, secamos. Now bring the pronoun out, turn it around, and place it in the front, nos secamos. Now for vosotros, and we'll just go like this. So vosotros, we're going to take the se off, put it in our pocket, and conjugate the verb, bring the pronoun out, turn it around, and place it in the front. Now the last one is for ellos, ellas, and ustedes. So it may get cut off here, so I'm just going to write it over here. Let's take the se off, put it in our pocket, conjugate the verb, secan, and now we're going to bring the pronoun out, turn it around, and place it in the front. Say secan. So you need to have your reflexive pronouns in those steps for about numbers 1 through 20. Then you have your is it reflexive or not. And the very last portion of this looks at the verbs ser and estar. So you are conjugating those verbs ser and estar in the present tense and looking at those differences. So keep in mind that some of or the forms of the verb ser are as follows. So you would use yo soy, tú eres, él, ella, usted es, nosotros somos, vosotros sois, ellos, ustedes son. And then for the verb estar, you're using yo estoy, tú estás, él, ella, usted está, nosotros estamos, vosotros estáis, ellos, ellas, y ustedes están. And you're just going to use those conjugations throughout those other sentences. So please let me know if this helps. I'm always here to help, and adios.